Hi, my name is Lisa, and I'll be teaching you some basic crochet stitches.
The first stitch I'm going to show you today is the basic slip stitch. The slip stitch is used at the start of every crochet project. You start by crossing the tail over the long end, and you want to leave a little bit of a tail there because you're going to go back under and through the loop you just made. Holding on to that tail, you want to slip into a loop and kind of don't make it real tight, but make it tight enough that you can slip it, but it's secure. Now that you have your basic slip stitch, you're going to take your crochet hook and stick it into that loop that we just made. You're going to hold the tail with the hand that has the hook in it, and you're going to wrap the yarn around your fingers however is comfortable for you. You're going to yarn over, and we're going to be ready to do our next stitch, which is the chain stitch. So now that we have yarned over, we're going to go back through that loop that we just put our hook into, and we're going to pull it through and off, and that has created our first chain. This portion right here is the first chain. This portion right here is the loop that we're going to create our second chain with. So then we again yarn over and pull through, and sometimes it'll slip off, but that's okay. And now we have 1, 2 chains, and we just continue for however many chains our project requires. So you yarn over and you pull through. We now have 1, 2, 3 chains. All right, welcome back. So now I have a loop on my hook, and I have 10 chains behind. So I'm going to show you how to do the single crochet. I want to skip, and it's kind of tight here, but I'm going to skip this first hole, and I'm going to go to the second hole. So I'm going to stick my hook through that hole. I'm going to yarn over and pull it through. I now have 2 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through both loops. I'm going to go to the next hole. I'm going to stick my crochet hook through that hole. I'm going to yarn over, and then I have 2 loops on. I'm going to yarn over and pull both loops off. Again, I have 1 loop. And I'm going to continue that process of going into the next hole and yarning over, pulling through, and yarning over and pulling off both. Okay. Going through the next hole, 2 loops, yarning over, pulling off both, going through the next hole, yarning over, pulling off both. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and finish this out, and then I'll come back and show you how to do the second row. Welcome back. I'm at the end of the row. We started down here with the tail, went all the way down with our chain stitch, and then we worked our way back to that end with doing single crochet. Now let me show you how to turn your work doing single crochet and then to continue. It's a lot easier in the second row and beyond. That first row can be a little tricky. So I'm going to chain one by yarning over. Okay. And then I'm going to turn my work. So I just basically brought this tail over to the other hand, and now I'm going to work down towards this end. So again, I'm going to skip this stitch right here. I'm going to skip that hole, and I am going to go, it's a little hard to see because it's a dark yarn, but there's a hole right there. And so I'm going to stick my hook into, I'm going to catch the front and back loop. So if you notice, there's two strands of yarn here. There's two loops. There's one loop here and one loop here that I just put my hook through. And this, you can see it a little better here. See how it kind of makes a V, comes to a point here and it comes up and then loops around up into this other V. That's what I just went into. So once I have that, then I can go ahead and continue the single crochet process. Yarn over, pull through. Now I have two loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull off both loops. Again, we're going to go into the next stitch, catching both the front and back loops. Sometimes you do just the front or just the back depending on what effect you're wanting, but for beginning we catch both loops. Then we yarn over and pull off both loops. One more time. We go into both the front and back loop, yarn over. I have two loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull them back off. Let me go ahead and finish this up and I'll meet you back here. Welcome back. I've finished the row out, and you can see that I have two rows. I have my chain, I have a single crochet row and another single crochet row, and it just doesn't cover a whole lot of territory, but it is a basic stitch and you do need to know how to do it. Sometimes the patterns call for it when you get into more advanced pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and show you now the double crochet, and it covers a little more territory faster. It's good for making dishcloths, pot holders, and so forth. So at the beginning here you need to get ready to turn. So since we're doing a double crochet, we're going to want to chain two. 1, 2. Okay. Then we're going to turn our work. We're going to go right into that very first hole this time. This is our first double crochet right here that we just created with that chain 2. How this is different again from the single crochet is this time, before we go into that hole, we are going to yarn over. See how I have 2 loops on my hook? 1, 2. So then we go into that hole, we yarn over, and now we have 3 loops on our hook. And this is where the double crochet gets its name, is we are going to take these 3 loops off in 2 rounds. Okay, so we're going to yarn over, and then we're going to take off the first and second loop, which leaves us with 2 loops. We're going to yarn over again, and we're going to take off both loops. So you can't really tell it right now, but here's our first double crochet and here is our second double crochet. So let's go ahead and go into the next one, and it'll start looking like something and it'll be a little easier to see. So again, we're going to yarn over. We're going to catch the front and back loop, just like we did with the single crochet. There's the front loop, there's the back loop. We're going to yarn over, and we should have 3 stitches on our hook, and we do. 1, 2, 3. Okay. We're going to yarn over. We're going to take off the first 2 loops, which leaves us with 2 loops. We're going to yarn over again and take off both loops. Now you can start to see, here's your first double crochet, your second double crochet, and your triple double crochet. Yarn over again, go into the front and back loops, yarn over again, pull through. There's 3 loops on the hook, and that's what we want. I'm going to yarn over again, take off 1, 2, yarn over again, and take off both loops. Alright, see how we've basically doubled our amount of length or height on this? See, this is 1, 2, and this is 1 row. So you can really cover a lot of ground with a double crochet. Let me finish out the round and I'll be back to show you what it looks like. Okay, we're back. So this is my sample of a single or chain stitch, 2 single crochet rows, and 1 double crochet row. So getting a lot of practice in these 3 different stitches, your basic chain, your slip stitch, and so forth, is really important to creating a good foundation of becoming an expert crocheter. So thank you for joining me, and I hope that you will practice the different crochet stitches that we worked on today.